Are you serious? Are you serious? Let's go exploring a little bit. Thank you for your prayers. My left ear is still hurting very bad. It's still affecting this left eye and the throat and the swollen glands. But it's better. I'm taking some very strong antibiotics. It's better, and the prayers are helping. So thank you. Keep it up. Well, I want to stop and do a video here for a moment. I want to talk a little bit about the book of Zechariah. Now, a couple things happened in the book of Zechariah chapter 14 and in the book of Matthew chapter 27. There's a significant events took place that both have to do with earthquakes. Now, I want you to know that there's an earthquake that runs right. It's called the Jerusalem Fault Line, and it runs right under the Mount of Olives. And according to the Bible in the book of Zechariah, the Mount of Olives is going to have an earthquake so strong it's going to split in half. Now, there's a report out. Avi Shapira, who heads the Geophysical Institute of Israel's Seismology Division, said that the frequency of earthquakes in Israel is much lower than the earthquakes-prone regions such as, let's say, California, Japan, or Turkey. Oh, you wonder why I'm wearing the hat? Well, you've heard of Indiana Jones. He loves to go exploring. Well, I'm Indiana Paul, and I love to explore the Bible, okay, to see what treasures are there. All right. Still, he added that Israel is likely to get hit by a serious, very serious earthquake. Matter of fact, the Bible talks about major earthquakes. So I'm going to tell you the last major earthquake to hit Israel was in 1927. It was so powerful, it destroyed the Allenby Bridge and it collapsed, and many people were killed. But there was one 90 years before that in 1837 that hit in the West Bank, and that one killed thousands of people. There was also a very strong earthquake in Israel on January 15th, 1546. That one was a 6.7. Now, if you study earthquakes historically in Israel, they have a major earthquake about every 80 to 100 years. And so right now it's been 92 years since the last major earthquake. 92 years. We are due. You start talking about this subduction, the Cascadia subduction zone. It's been 300 years since that last major earthquake there. That is way overdue. You start talking about the New Madrid fault line. It's been 207 years since that last major earthquake that turned the Mississippi backwards in 1812. It is overdue. You talk about the San Andreas fault line. It's been a long time, 80-some years since a major earthquake there. So we're looking at Israel, 92 years, and started studying the Bible. There was major earthquakes. I did a television series called the Seven Prophetic Earthquakes of the Bible, which are phenomenal. I studied some of the most important earthquakes ever happened in the Bible and the events that happened during those days. But we have a earthquake when Jesus died on the cross. There's a couple things happened. There was one of the longest solar eclipses in history. It lasted for 3 hours. The darkness that came over the land, and a major earthquake right there on that Jerusalem fault line that shook the Temple Mount so hard that it tore the veil in the temple in half, and many people were killed. And it's called the earthquake of the days of Uzziah, the king of Judah. Well, Zechariah mentions that earthquake in a prophecy in Zechariah 14. He said, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoils shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, the houses rifled, the women ravished, and half the city shall go forth into captivity." And he talks about more things that are going to happen. A battle takes place. But then he says, as it was in the days of King Uzziah, the king of Judah, major earthquake hit. He says another one's going to hit. The Lord is going to put his feet on the Mount of Olives and split the mountain in half. Now that has never happened. I can study all the ancient earthquakes of the Holy Land, and the Mount of Olives is still not split in half. That earthquake is coming in a very prophetic time. So I want you to be aware of that. That hasn't happened yet. But according to Zechariah 14, it's going to happen when the Lord comes. The coming of the Messiah. He's coming soon. And all of the seismic activity and information seemingly is pointing to it is overdue. So we are watching the signs in the heavens. The Bible said there will be signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, distress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves will be roaring, and men's hearts will fail them for fear, for looking after those things that are coming upon the earth, for the power of heaven shall be shaken. Then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to come to pass, he said, look up, lift up your head. Your redemption is drawing nigh. Now, I just did a Patreon on this subject, but I went a whole lot deeper because we have some information that we wanted to share to pull that all together, or at least give you even more of an idea of what's going on. Some of this information I think you'll find fascinating. You can find it at our Patreon channel and really just get more deeper into the Word of God. I just want to say, nobody knows the day nor the hour that the Lord is coming, but we can see the day approaching. But I did an in-depth study today that ties some key things together. It seems like a crossroad is coming to the very hour, the final hour, the hour that the Lord shall come. Are you ready to meet the Lord? Have you been saved? Nobody knows the day nor the hour. Not even the angels in heaven, but the Father. Not even the Son of God, but the Father only. But we can see the day approaching. And we know that he's coming so very soon. So very soon. There was another information I have here that the fault line in Jerusalem rivals that of the San Andreas fault line in the west coast of the United States, and the New Madrid fault line, of course, it goes through the center of the United States. And so all of the signs are there that something's about to happen. So does Nibiru, does Planet X, do the 5 waves of energy, do they play a role in shaking loose and shaking from the heavens? The earth is reeling and rocking like a drunken man in Isaiah 24. The pole shift that the Bible, Isaiah 24:20 talks about the earth will reel and rock like a drunken man. Isaiah 24:1 talks about the earth will flip upside down during some type of a pole shift. The Isaiah 24 tells us that the sounds of the heavens will be heard. The sounds of the apocalypse will be heard. Isaiah 24 tells us that we're going to hear the booming coming from the pits. There is some really strange things that are going on, folks. Unbelievable all over the world. So you might want to give your life to Jesus Christ. And you notice how people are losing their sensibility? It's like evil's good and good is evil. I mean, I heard about what happened in Colorado last night, that 1,000 people showed up at the ICE building and took the American flag down and put a Mexican flag up and an upside down flag. That isn't American. What's going on? And nobody seemed to be able to stop them. So what is going on? We're calling evil good and good evil. What's going on? Pray for my voice. It gets fully healed. Thank you. Pray for my ear. Thank you. And I want to thank all of you for being subscribers of our YouTube channel. Pray one for another. We had 58 people saved Thursday night. And we're believing God for many more. But we're running out of time. God bless all of you. Are you serious? Join me at my Patreon channel. You'll really like the in-depth study on this subject and a whole lot more that I've done over there. Check that out, okay? Thank you, guys. God bless.